Welcome everybody to the Pickswise YouTube channel. My name's Jacob Loss. This is Andrew Ortenberg from Pickswise. And today we're going to talk about a few NFL teams that are going to have a better record this season and have a worse record this season. The first team I got for you, Andrew, is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who found a little bit of success last year with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Are they going to be able to translate that into some long-term success this season?
Yeah, maybe down the line Minshew will have a good career. I don't think it's going to translate into 2020 success. The team was a bit of a mess last year with the Nick Foles situation. They have gotten rid of Nick Foles. Unfortunately, I think Minshew, after Minshew Mania wore off after those first few exciting games, he started to look like a sixth-round rookie. He was scrambling all over the place, sensing pressure when it wasn't there. He couldn't hold on to the football. He was fumbling at an absurd rate. The Jaguars' defense obviously looks unrecognizable from the team we saw in the AFC Championship game a few years ago. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey, the heart and soul of that team, is no longer there. Doug Marrone nearly got fired last season, kept his job, but looks like a total lame duck. There's a stench of inevitability around this team that they're going to be bad, and it's just going to be Marrone's last year coaching the team, so I don't see them winning more than 4 games.
All right, so not so much on the Jaguars. What about the Arizona Cardinals, who last year, Kyler Murray definitely showed some signs of stardom. Is he going to take the next step this season?
Yeah, I'm high on the Cardinals this year. I think they've got nowhere to go but up. Murray showed a ton of flashes. I think a decent comp, obviously two completely different playing styles, but just in terms of the leap we could see is similar to Lamar Jackson. As a rookie, showed plenty of flashes, but it was his first time seeing NFL action. He struggled to put it all together as a passer, was far from complete. Had a full NFL offseason under him. Second year came out and won the MVP. Wouldn't shock me if we saw something similar with Kyler. I think he's a pretty good dark horse MVP bet around 25-1. The Cardinals pulled off not just one of the best trades of this offseason, one of the best trades of any offseason when they landed DeAndre Hopkins for peanuts from the Houston Texans, gave up virtually nothing, completely swindled them. Now you've got DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, and Larry Fitzgerald, arguably the best receiving trio in football, a creative young offensive mind coach in Cliff Kingsbury, and a young star quarterback Kyler Murray. Made a ton of upgrades on defense this year too. Just drafted your boy Isaiah Simmons in the first round. Nowhere to go but up for this team.
All right, so I guess we're high on them. What about on the Los Angeles Chargers this year with no Phillip Rivers for the first time in years, replacing with Justin Herbert? What do we think about them?
Yeah, Justin Herbert or Tyrod Taylor potentially. Looks like he's going to be in the driver's seat to start. You know, I'm a big Phil Rivers guy, one of my favorite players. That being said, I still love this Chargers team coming into this year. It was an absolute joke that they only won 5 games last season. If you look at their point differential, it was almost even. So the fact that they went 5-11 shows how unlucky they were. I saw a stat the other day. They fumbled an opponent's 1-yard line last year 3 different times. The entire rest of the league only did that once. The Chargers were the victim of brutal beat after brutal beat. We as gamblers know that's a good buy low opportunity when you see a team consistently getting unlucky with the football gods going against them. They're a prime bounce back team the next year. This Chargers team is stacked on defense. Joey Bosa's got the extension. There's a lot to like about this team.
Okay, and how about on, I guess in the NFC South, we got the Carolina Panthers, who now have no coach Ron Rivera. He's with the Washington football team. How are they going to rebuild?
Yeah, no Ron Rivera, no Cam Newton. I think the Panthers are potentially looking like one of the most newly transformed teams we've seen in quite some time. I haven't seen this level of makeover at any level in a long time. They're going to be looking brand new coaching staff, brand new defense, and brand new offense, which I think is a recipe for disaster during these coronavirus times when there's no off-season really, no real training camp, no OTAs, no mini camp. For all these new pieces who have never meshed together, Matt Rule has 1 year as an assistant offensive line coach with the Giants, and that was his only NFL experience. Now he's a rookie head coach. They've got a 30-year-old offensive coordinator from college. They've got Teddy Bridgewater, who's only started a handful of games in the past handful of years. It's a lot of inexperience, a lot of guys getting thrown into the fire. Luke Kuechly also retired, the heart and soul of this team this offseason. It's going to be brand new everything, and I think that's a terrible thing for 2020.
All right, so with a lot of new parts, fade Carolina. What about in Detroit, the Lions, who I feel like have gotten a little bit better every year, Patricia, since he's gotten hired. Now do they take the next step this year?
Yeah, I think they were better last year, despite, as you mentioned, as a team, despite the fact that their record was obviously so poor, only 3-12-1. But that's extremely misleading. If you look back to the first few weeks of last season, as Jacob alluded to, When they had a healthy Matt Stafford, they looked way better than they did the year before. They upset the Eagles early on the road. Matt Stafford was playing at a very high level. Then he went down with his back injury. All of a sudden, by the end of the season, they're starting David Blow, an undrafted free agent from Purdue. And of course, everything goes to crap then. With a healthy Stafford, this team looked really good early on last season, and this is a great opportunity to buy low. I also like the Lions because I think there's a few teams in that division that could regress. The Packers clearly got fortunate to have the record that they did last year. They clearly weren't as good as their record indicates. They come back down to earth. That's a big boost to the Lions as well.
All right, and last but not least, we got the NFC reigning champions, the San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy G at the helm. Are they carrying this momentum into this season?
Yeah, I hate to be a hater. I don't think the 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going anywhere close. Wouldn't surprise me if they missed the playoffs. They're certainly not going to win 13 games again. Jimmy G was getting carried by the rest of his team. I've got a man crush on Kyle Shanahan. Hard to overstate how great of a coach he is, how great of an offensive mind he is. He can't do all the heavy lifting by himself. This defense was actually really carrying Jimmy G for a lot of the year, and they just traded away all-pro defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. That was kind of the glue that held that defense together. That's going to be a huge loss. I don't think it can be overstated. The defense I expect to regress a little bit, and what we've seen with these teams that get carried by their elite defenses, as we saw with the 2015 Denver Broncos, for example, or the Jaguars a couple years later, any team that gets carried by an elite defense, when that defense regresses even a little bit, the entire team kind of unravels. There's very little room for error if you're going to be a defensive-oriented team in such a passing, offensive-oriented league. We saw them get exposed by the Chiefs late in the Super Bowl. I think the 49ers are going to be on the downtrend this year.
All right, good detail, good analysis. So there's just a handful of teams that we think are going to improve or regress this season in the NFL. My name's Jacob. This is Andrew. If you guys like more videos, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.